Hello, everybody. Happy Friday, and welcome to the Fanatic Forum. I'm your fanatic and host, George Bueller. Oh, we got a good one for you today. I want to believe we got some weird stuff going on, and I'm looking forward to it. And let us bring on the master of the mirth and mayhem this evening himself, Mr. There Is No Pepe Sethia, the Manhammer. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. How you doing? I appreciate, as an X-Files fan, I appreciate you wanting to believe.
Well, I did that one for you because I figured
Thank
you
you.
would definitely appreciate it above all. So there you go. But
Yeah.
yeah, as a
Now,
It's Always Sunny fan, I appreciate the Pepe Sylvia. So
it is. I just realized. Yeah, we did that nice crossover thing, not,
it's
completely
completely
unplanned.
unplanned. Yeah. See
Yeah.
that
Oh man.
this is why we're besties. So there we
Exactly. Yeah.
go.
One thing I don't want to believe in though is the last like two episodes of the X-Files season 12. That was the
I
yeah
don't know if
when
I don't know if I
Scully gets
sold.
pregnant and it's like that even season 11 having that weird cliffhanger ending where like the lights
That
go
was
off
kind
on
of
the bridge. That
Yeah,
was
that was
kind of
cool.
cool. I was kind of down for that. But no,
Yes.
like Scully being pregnant and then being like it's all that whole thing. Yeah, even Gillian Anderson's like, no, we ain't doing this crap.
See, I don't even think because yeah, season 12 was the second season of the Fox revival, right?
Right? Yeah.
Okay, I don't even think we saw that one because I remember Michelle was real hype because she's an X Files fan too,
Yeah.
as you well know. She was real hype about season 11, and season 11 was cool. I mean, we watched it every week. I
Yeah.
don't even remember if either. I don't think maybe we didn't finish season 12. I think it's when we started watching it, and then she kind of tuned out of it, and so we ended up not finishing season 12.
You know what? Don't,
Okay.
because wherever you did, you might have missed a Monster of the Week episode, which those were solid in the reboots, like all three
Right.
of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, but like no, any of the mythology episodes, yeah, you're fine. It's like what I tell people when they want to watch the original Dexter series: stop after season 4 because it don't get any better from there. Like John Lithgow was the peak of that show.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, I've never watched Dexter, so I need to. One of these days, I'll get onto that. But yeah, for what people are surprised, like, but you like serial killer stuff, like, yeah, but I like serial killer movies and documentaries. I don't necessarily go for like, with the exception of Hannibal. Hannibal was brilliant.
The TV show Hannibal was excellent. Yes, I loved that.
That was
Now,
just beautiful.
I had a problem with Dexter almost from Jump Street because the pilot episode, right? Like it's very like the whole tagline of Dexter is the serial killer who kills other serial killers, right?
Right.
Like, that's like he's got that code, he does it, right? So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
pilot episode goes out of the way to show him giving into the serial killer impulses with the torture, right?
Mhm.
So it's like he's got the dude strapped down there and he's cutting with him and playing with him before he kills it. Like, it's very obvious. They don't necessarily show it all. It's not super graphic, but it's very much implied with like his tools and like what he's doing and
Right. Yeah.
everything. After the pilot, it's just like he straps him down and stabs him, and then that's it. Like it's like, okay, that kind of that softens him a lot, right? And then there's
Yeah.
this whole thing about like he has no emotions, even though he's friggin' going through having emotional reactions to everything all the time. Book Dexter was actually far better to me than TV show Dexter, but Michael C. Hall was just too much of a good actor.
Yeah.
So it's like he carried the show and the supporting cast was really good too. Like, but yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's one of those things like, I'll get around to it, just like I'll get around to Breaking Bad and all that kind of stuff I haven't seen
Yeah, it's.
either. So
I mean, it's
yeah,
like I hate like even kind of put like I've seen a lot of Breaking Bad, but I never felt like I needed to finish it.
right.
Like, so it's like that's where I am with it. But it's like I always feel like people think I'm all hoity-toity because I'm like, I don't need to watch Breaking Bad, and it's like, whatever. Where it's like stuff like The Wire, I've watched like 5 or 6 times. I love that show.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
like Deadwood, I've watched multiple times. Justified, like
Oh,
there's a,
Deadwood.
I love Deadwood.
Yeah. Now I never finished Justified, but I've seen a lot of Justified, and of course, like, because I'd seen Walter Goggins in a lot of stuff, but I think that's the show that America fell in love with Walter
Oh
Goggins. I
yeah,
think. Yeah.
Waylon Givens is I live and breathe.
Hmm.
We dug coal together.
I mean, it's just like
Yeah.
it's so funny, like to flashback that many years ago when he was, like I said, just kind of a struggling character actor, but that kind of hit his stride and then started hitting more things, and then
Yeah.
White White Lotus and Fallout, and then now he's like doing Walmart commercials. Like,
Right,
okay,
yeah.
whatever gig he had, that Walmart gig is probably his best paying gig.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm scrolling through Reddit one day, and he's on a Doritos ad, and
Yeah,
it's like, what? Like, yeah,
it's like, man,
yeah,
somebody that's been in the biz for a while, that's just been a working, working actor for a while, male or female, doesn't matter. I love
yeah.
it when somebody hits their stride, even later in life. I love that stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like people like to talk about oversaturating or whatever, like getting bored with seeing the same. Now, strike when the iron's hot. Make that Doritos money. Make that Walmart money.
Yes, sir.
Like
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
because it could all end tomorrow. I ain't gonna blame. And anybody that says they don't want to wouldn't do the same thing is friggin' lying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you want a good, funny Walter Goggins series, Vice Principals. That's one of the Danny
Oh
McBride series. Yeah.
yes, yeah. Eric turned me on to that one. That one was oh god.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've started at that one because, of course, I loved Eastbound and Down, and I'm like, okay, and somebody's like, he's like, you got to see Vice Principals, and of course, when what's the show, the when they're all preachers and stuff like that. I've seen some of that.
I don't remember. I don't know that one.
Yeah, anyway, that's like the next show that Jody and Danny McBride and all them did, but basically, oh God, my brain is just not working today here. Anywho, but yeah, a bunch of good people in there. Goggins is also in that one, but he basically plays the oldest member of the family. So he's basically playing like an elderly man who looks like he's like tanned like a cigar store Indian.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so he's supposed to be playing like he's in his 80s, but he's like the most rascaliest member of the group here.
Is that Righteous Gemstones?
That's it, Righteous Gemstones.
Okay,
Thank
okay.
you.
With that, yeah, that's got John Goodman in it too. It's like,
Thank you. Yes, I kept on
okay,
saying
yeah.
I had John Candy on the brain. It's like it's not John Candy, even though it's a good John Candy documentary. It's about ready to drop.
I keep seeing clips about that too, where Macaulay Culkin was saying that like John Candy was the only dude that
Thank
recognized it
you,
as.
Clyde. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
Reggie.
We'd be awful at charades or Pictionary tonight,
Well, and we got to get Mr. Bradley is in the hizzy
What
here.
up, Bradley?
Hey, good afternoon, Fanatic friends. Greetings from Master Cthulhu. Yeah,
I
I'm not
love that.
sure. I'm not sure we're going to get into any Cthulhuisms because we're in JFK, but I mean, I don't know.
No, his profile picture is Cthulhu there. It's a little
Oh,
Cthulhu plushie, yeah.
I love that. That's
I
great.
love it. Yeah.
Let's see. He was in the middle of 100%ing The Evil Within. Ooh, nice. Love that game.
Is that I've never played that, but I've been tempted.
The original is good. The sequel, eh.
Okay.
But yeah, it was the same dude that they originally created Resident Evil. But yeah, the original Evil Within is really cool. Very, I mean,
Okay.
you're a cop, you're going after a bad guy, and you're going through like a police station and a museum and all these other buildings stuff like that. But yeah, there's also like some weird and trippy stuff in there too. So
Yeah.
so it's
Okay.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah. The OG, the original, I give my seal of approval there. Since we were talking about serial killers with Dexter earlier, did you all hear about the announcement of the new Ed Gein film? Looks like they aren't even trying to tell a story, but tell a half-assed fictionalized version. Yeah, it's a Hulu one. It's got Charlie Hunnam playing Ed Gein, which he looks good playing Ed. I've seen what
Yeah.
he looks like, but yeah, we'll see how far they get into the story.
Yeah, it's made by the same people that did Dahmer, I believe, and yeah,
Well,
that would
the Dahmer series was decent though.
like as a series, Dahmer was decent as far as like accurately portraying anything. It got Jack all right,
Also true.
though
Yes.
my favorite parts of that whole series though were when the guy playing Dahmer totally goes Napoleon Dynamite, and he's like, "Grandma, why'd you throw away my sex mannequin? Gosh." Yeah.
God. But the kid that plays Quicksilver did a great job playing Dahmer, though.
Yeah.
So I know I kind of feel you, Bradley. Like I'm still going to check out the series because again, it's the Nip Tuck dude and the American Horror Story of that guy Ryan, what's his nuts. But yeah, he I like some of his stuff, and it will be an entertaining series. But yeah, for accuracy, yeah,
Yeah, it's there's so many of those true crime things now are just done like everybody likes to talk about how the 80s used to sensationalize everything, and it did like so much more blatantly. But
yeah,
like all this stuff it's just the same. It's just turning it around. It's more like making you empathetic towards the victims more than trying to shock you with the brutality of the monster.
yeah, pretty
And
much.
yeah, it's the same thing. It's just the other end of the pendulum swinging again. IMO, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But
but I mean, at the same time, too, it's like I can see why they would want to do something because Ed's influence has gone over so much. Like Psycho was partially based on Ed Gein.
right, yeah, Texas
The Texas
Chainsaw, yeah.
Chainsaw. So there's been so much other stuff. Pretty much anytime you want to turn a person into a suitcase or a sweater or whatever else, you're taking a note from Ed Gein.
Yeah.
When
Yeah,
you're
hell, Buffalo Bill, Silence of the Lambs, that was straight Ed Gein, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. When you're filing the bodies of the dead and they're not zombies, then there you go. See, that's
Yes.
the only time you can defile the dead is they come rise out of the grave and they're trying to eat your face. Okay.
Right, yeah, then you
Then
can, yeah. You kill
defile
them
away.
all, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But otherwise, just leave the bodies alone,
As
please.
Anthrax would say, fight them till you can't.
Yeah.
We're big
There
Anthrax
you,
fans on this
there
show,
you
yeah.
go. First Anthrax reference of the evening.
Yes.
Well,
Oh, man.
I love it. Oh, and then Bradley said, talk about Evil Within, or not Evil Within. Yeah, it was Evil Within. Thanks Resident Evil meets Silent Hill, which is good. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, I'm down for that. I'm a huge Silent Hill fanboy, so yeah. Except this new remake, I did not get on board with that. That like, yeah, it took all the Silent Hill things out of it that made it Silent Hill to me, and just made it like AAA act or AAA horror game.
Oh,
And
well, that was kind of the fun thing about Silent Hill is that it wasn't, you know,
yeah, well, like with number one, I hate this whole idea of like anymore in games. There's like the third person up your ass camera, where it's like 3/4 of the screen is taken up by this giant character model.
yeah,
So like pull the character back or pull the thing back a little bit. The second with the Silent Hill remake was that like you had to kill every enemy in the area. You couldn't just like stealth by them, like they weren't activated like like in the original game. Yeah, if you like managed to stealth by them, they did not try and chase you or whatever, right?
right, yeah,
Like it was just like nope. If you were in a new combat arena in every spot, and yeah, it's like you had to kill them one way or another. There was no, and then there was like I didn't play it on the hardest difficulty, but there was no survival in the aspect of the horror. They gave you tons of ammo and tons of like health items and everything.
yeah.
So
You felt pretty well secure. Yeah,
yeah, there were I and I remember in the especially in the original Silent Hill 2, like when I got the shotgun, I was conserving shotgun shells because like I only had like 4 of them and I
yeah,
had like 20 pistol rounds. So it was like, yeah, I was saving the shotgun rounds for the boss, and then you conserved your rifle rounds. It's like this one,
sure.
it was like, wow, thanks for the 12 shotgun rounds with just like each pickup now. So it's like I'm the Doom Slayer for for F's sake. Yeah.
Oh, love it. Oh. Well, I got some comic book reviews here, and then I understand
Yes,
you got.
yeah, get into it after 13 minutes in, and we've just got our opening tangent monologue. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was gonna see. We got to get our extra stuff out of the way. And actually, we're talking about games. Actually, before we get into comics,
Okay.
here's a gaming announcement here for you guys that I took advantage of yesterday myself. If any
Okay.
of y'all who are Xbox One players, you basically haven't not upgraded the current the newest model of Xboxes, and you also have not got around to buying WWE 2K25. There is a hella deal going on for the next 7 days. It was 8 days yesterday. It's 7 days today. You can get the Dead Man pack version, like the Dead Man version of the game, which comes like this Dead Man pack, the game for Xbox One, and the upgrade if you ever get to the Xbox
Right,
Series
right.
X. And a good, I would say, 70 to 75% maybe of the downloadable content that's available for the game for the low price of $35.
Damn, that is a pretty good deal.
Yep. Yeah, so because like there's like the original version, there's like some big bloodline thing that's got all this other extra crap with them, like whatever else. But it's like, so
Yeah.
if you're a big Undertaker fan, there's some kind of, I don't know what the Dead Man pack is. I haven't got to play the game just yet, But yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. But yeah, $35 will get you the game and a whole lot of downloadable content. But it's basically literally being solicited to people who are still Xbox One people, and you haven't upgraded to the new game. I'm like, you're talking to me.
That's cool.
That's a George sale if I ever saw one, because I'm
Right.
way behind. So I'm like, yeah, let's go.
No, man, you're what's called a patient gamer. Like me, it was like as soon as it came out, I was like, I have to upgrade. Like I had an Xbox like within the first month that they
Yeah.
came out, right? Like just yeah, and but you, it's like you've been trucking along. I respect you far more than that because I have no impulse control sometimes.
Well, I mean, it's like there hasn't, until they did Alan Wake 2, there wasn't a game that compelled me. It's like, I have to get an Xbox, Series X now. And
Yeah.
then now there's, a year or so later after Alan Wake 2's release, there's the new Gears of War game that's the prequel to the OG.
Oh yeah, E-Day. Yeah, I can't wait till
Yeah.
that comes out. Yeah.
And so that's out. So I was like, so now there's two games that are the reason I should buy this system.
Yeah.
I'm cool for where I am right now, but there's going to be a big old Black Friday special somewhere along the lines. Like they're basically just like, just take it, just
Right.
just get out of here. So then that'll be the sale I take advantage of. So
Yeah.
there you go. The gaming industry hates me.
But no, it's like because it's like how many times have you played Red Dead 2 now?
Oh,
Like
I'm currently within my maybe ninth or 10th run through.
see, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's like no, it's like I love that because it's like there's some games that I can do that too. Like The Witcher 3, I spent like 300 hours in.
Mm-hmm.
And just because of that, like I loved the world. I loved that. Cyberpunk is another one that it's like I've like my current save, like my current save is at 157 hours.
Yeah.
And so it's like I could tell you how many times I've played through each of them, but yeah, it's like there's just sometimes when you just get lost in one of them game worlds and you love it, and yeah.
Dude, I had the exact same reaction for the longest time with Days Gone for PlayStation.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic game, and of course, what's his that's the play that does the voice for him. That he was in Arrow. He played Darth Maul's voice in Clone Wars.
Oh yeah. What? Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah,
but,
basically,
yeah.
he does the voice for your main character. So it's like I like his voice. He's got a it's like so like
Yeah.
you like him. And so, yeah, so he's all over the game, and like, I mean, it's a fun zombie world game, and you're riding around on a motorcycle that's like this, piece of crap, but you can kind of still upgrade it just a little bit, and you're basically dealing with like rudimentary weapons and some low grade firearms. It's like,
Yeah.
I love it. It's also giant zombie hordes.
Okay.
Yeah. There are basically the hordes vary from time to time throughout the game. Sometimes it's like small hordes, and then sometimes you can actually wrangle them into larger hordes. And I've seen online someone got like somewhere around like close to 1,000 zombies.
So it's like what you wanted Dead Rising 3 and 4 to be.
Yeah, pretty
Like,
much.
okay.
Yeah.
I might have to give that one a crack then, yeah.
Yeah. Days Gone is really cool. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, but enough video game discussion there for the moment, because comics, and then you've got some movie reviews,
yes,
and then of course our topic du jour here for all our conspiracy theory nuts is we got some JFK conspiracy theories here, and Seth has some. I only know of some of what Seth wants to talk about tonight. And what I heard is extremely interesting and also strangely credible too.
Yeah, we'll get into it shortly.
We'll get into it.
I got a nice thing set up for it. I think.
Yeah. But first and foremost, I haven't talked about a Spider-Man book in a while here. But Amazing Spider-Man number 11, or as we're in legacy numbering 975.
Okay.
So a little bit of a thick boy here too, because there's a lot going on in this book. Because you got basically essentially a tale of two different Spider-Men going on. So our previous issue, actually, take back 2 issues ago, a villain by the name of Hellgate, some kind of demonic character looking like he's like a stone golem or whatever else, just absolutely beats the ever-loving F out of Peter Parker. Just wallops the absolute floor with him. Peter can't do a thing against him. And basically Hellgate kind of finally stops and is like, look, I was told you were supposed to be this like steel spider and, you know, this great, you know, hero, and you're basically nothing. So I'm going to leave and come back, get stronger. And so like the next issue, all of a sudden, like Peter Parker's like super like sassy, like very, you know, very assertive and like, who's this guy? You know, kind of like he's like just, you know, he's got his, you know, life on lock, so we're gonna kind of guy like that. And then all of a sudden Spider-Man's running around and he's like just super brutal. Like just like and like even to the point like J. Jonah Jameson, who's been on Spider-Man's sides, going, is Spider-Man going too far? You know, sort of thing like that. So the end of that issue, which was issue 10, you get on a rooftop scene. You got Peter Parker and this Spider-Man are face to face with each other, going, "Okay, what's up? You're not Spider-Man." And then the Spider-Man dude goes, "Oh yeah, well you're not Peter Parker." And so that's how the issue ends. And so this issue basically tells us why Peter Parker and Spider-Man are not who they are, and then also who the heck's this guy?
Yeah. Okay.
So a lot of stuff going on here, but basically we've got a Spider-Man essentially that is on Earth doing Spider-Man things, and then we have a Spider-Man in space, because that's who this dude is. But who is this guy, and why is he in space?
Free Spider-Man.
So yeah, got some interesting stuff going on in the pages of old Spidey there. So
Yeah.
basically Bradley says Spider-Man that Spider-Man no good days ever. That Spider-Man's intentional look. Batman and Spider.
I have to check that out.
Batman and Spider-Man. Okay, I have to look that up. Yeah. I don't know what that is. But we'll have to look that up. You're right, Brad. Our next one here, I talked about issue 29 of this, but issue 30 of Avengers. This is, again, fun Avengers. Big thing going on. Mystery to figure out. MacGuffin, big villain, that sort of thing like that. But the cool thing is that, of course, we're revisiting the days of the 2015 Secret Wars and kind of like what happened to Battleworld after everything got fixed, supposedly, by Reed Richards, and kind of the basically kind of the thing that Reed unintentionally left. And that's what this MacGuffin thing is here. So,
okay.
But yeah, very fun. Like I said, fun Avenger stuff. And of course, our big villain who's been a secret for a while was finally revealed. And if you've been reading the series, it's pretty damn obvious who it was, but still, it was a fun reveal. So, yeah.
Okay.
And our one DC book to talk about.
Hang on before you I looked up that thing, that Bradley thing, Bradley that just suggested Batman and Spider-Man. It looks like a web series like from back in the day. Like almost Homestar Runner kind of like comedy kind of different. Just some screenshots that I'm looking at. So very similar looking, like that's the vibe without watching anything, obviously. But yeah.
All right, cool.
But yeah.
It's
Batman and Spider-Man, not Batman.
Yeah, Batman. Yeah, because we don't get sued. Can't get sued.
Yeah.
But I love me some Homestar Runner.
Yeah.
And oh gosh. Anyway, but yeah. So I had our one lone DC book this week.
Oh man, we didn't get to play how many Batman books, and I would have won with just one. Oh man, that is a badass cover, though. I do like that.
Yes, this is Batman #1. This is Matt Fraction taking over Batman. So somebody got himself an upgrade.
Yeah.
And also Jorge Jimenez doing the interior art, which is here's the funny thing. So Jim Lee and Tim Sale have been doing the Hush sequel, right?
Right.
And so that kind of interrupted regular Batman continuity because, hey, it's Hush 2, right? Jim Lee's late, shocker, 2 issues late. So basically 163 should have come out, and then this comes out.
Yeah.
161's out. Still waiting on 62 and 63. So I was concerned that, okay, is like, because that's basically the halfway point. Whereas we knew we get 6 issues of Hush, and then next year we get the other 6 issues, right?
Right.
So we're like, okay, so but apparently, though Hush takes place within current continuity, this new number one does not affect. Now, granted, there are some new things and some, sort of stuff like that. But kind of the new motif, kind of the new thing that Matt Fraction's kind of wanting to do is kind of bring Batman a little more back to basics. He has his gadgets and stuff like that, and he does have his butler with him. But isn't Alfred dead?
Y'all got any more of them?
Yep. We got a
Man,
Yeah, there were blind bags for this with like special foil versions. There are variant covers by J. Scott Campbell, Julian Totino Tedesco, Mark Silvestri. The blind bag one I got was the foil Adam Kubert cover because that's a 1 in 25. No, there's covers
yeah.
at the wazoo for this, but yeah, this good old
I just want that cover. I love that cover.
yeah.
And
I
yeah,
got you. I
I
got you, boo.
appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, oh man. Maybe man, and plus two, it's like I haven't gotten into a Batman series in a while, and it's like maybe
It's Matt Fraction.
yeah. It's like I'm kind of curious about this
I know.
one.
Like I say, when I remembered that it was Matt Fraction, I was like, "Ooh, this might be Seth bait here."
Yeah, yeah. It's just I don't know why. Like I just that cover is so simple. Like it reminds me of like yeah. Okay, when I saw that at first, I thought that it was like one of those like from like that like 86 to 94 period where it was like the Alan Grant kind of run stuff.
Mhm.
And that's just the vibes with the oh man, yeah, that's what it takes me back. That's why I want it. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
it's very old school vibes to
yeah,
me.
very cool. And of course, that's Jorge Jimenez doing the cover there, so very indicative of the interior art,
Yeah.
which again, just beautiful. And of course, when I first saw this book, I'm like, "Oh man, this image, like that's very Nightwing looking." Everybody's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." And then I see the image a little bit better, and you read the book, like, "Oh, the cover's in shadow." That's kind of classic blue and green.
Hold it up again. Hold it up because I think that okay, it's down a little bit more. Show me the top corner where the DC bullet is.
Oh,
Uh yeah, because just no, that is a very old school the yellow banner too.
oh yeah.
Because they haven't done that in a while, have they? That's
No, basically they've DC's definitely gone back to like the old logo, putting the banner down there and all that stuff. So they're baiting the old school guys again.
okay. Okay, so that's not unique to that specific issue then. That's
No,
been something that they've been
they're doing this to a lot of the books. Yeah.
okay. So yeah, okay, yeah, they're trying to hit me with nostalgia, and it worked in this case. So
Hmm. Yeah, but like I said, when I initially saw this image, like I said, I thought, oh, that's a very Nightwing looking thing. Oh, it's gonna be
yeah,
it's gonna be Grayson. No, this is an image in shadow. That is a classic blue and gray Batman suit.
that's my Batman too. When I play Arkham City, I have to switch to that suit.
Yep, yep, no, I feel you.
Yeah.
I got a trio of indie books here. Let me start with my IDW here. Uh, Scam Likely, I ain't talking to you.
Answer him on the air. We'll talk to him. Hell with
Oh, don't you tempt me with a good time.
it. Audience, you got questions from George's scam caller?
Oh, I love it. So our one from IDW here. Of course, if you guys have not checked out the Jason Aaron run of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, let's see, they're all in the back of a police cruiser there.
Yep.
You need to do yourself a favor. I am not a regular Ninja Turtles reader. I enjoyed them very much in the original 80s stuff, the old black and white stuff. I basically didn't read anything else on the regular basis. Kind of hitting this here and there, basically until Last Ronin came out. Last Ronin was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Great story. But this Jason Aaron run takes me back to the 80s stuff. It's really, really good. Unfortunately, his run is wrapping up. So I think issue 12 is the end of his run. But this is kind of like your penultimate issue here, but really, really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the art's been just fantastic in there. Was it Juan Ferrer has been doing the main interior art? Yeah, so really, really good stuff. So, Brad's got another thing here. Quick ask for suggestions. Oh, what should we name the plushie? He looks like Cthulhu, but he also looks demonic. So would name fit him that sounds eldritch, demonic, and a little Latin.
Eldritch, demonic, and a little Latin.
Well, see, you still got like you got old classics like Beelzebub, so you can call him like Beezy.
Draconis.
That's a good one. I like Draconis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. Trying to think of like other like good
Yeah,
names.
it's the Eldritch part too is like that's like it's because
Well,
with
basically,
Eldritch it would be like like something like a Leviathan or like kind of
mhm.
yeah like Mog Sagoth kind of yeah.
Yeah. So basically, if you want to make up a Lovecraft name, take a whole bunch of consonants, very few vowels, and drop a comma somewhere
Yeah.
in the name, and there you
Yeah.
go. So yeah. So you can just like do alphabet soup, drop a comma somewhere up top, and boom, you're good to go.
Yeah. And then you can just pronounce it Steve or something like that, just because it's like, yeah, it's the
Yeah.
it's the Eldritch
This is
tongue.
this,
So yeah,
this is Steve, but it's basically ST, or no, it's not a comma apostrophe. Yeah, ST
sure.
apostrophe EV.
Yeah,
Apostrophe XY.
right. Yeah, like Zanarla Tepth or whatever, or like, yeah. Actually, yeah, I have a. Actually, hold up. I have a weird Alan Moore or I have a copy of Neonomicon right here. So
Well, you just so happen to have one
yeah,
available. Look at that.
weirdly enough, I've got it on hand. I did not set this up.
Dude,
Uh,
this show's all about distraction. I'm glad you add to the topic, sir.
yes.
Brad's apologizing for a distraction. Are you kidding? We're the kings of distraction.
Oh man, I can't show the weird fish sex part.
Yeah,
Uh,
don't show the weird fish sex part.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if our audience is ready for weird fish sex.
Oh
Unless
no. Yeah, there's an old. Yeah, oh man, this whole book is just bizarre. I'm just trying to find a good name.
there's a
Uh,
lot of weird fish sex all over this book here.
yeah.
I mean, it is Cthulhu. He liked a lot of fish people, so there you
Yeah, this is about the most safe for work page I can show. It's just very urban. Yeah.
go. Yep.
Uh,
Oh, I love it. Yeah, we need like is there like a Cthulhu name generator here or
there. Oh, I'm sure there is. I am sure there is. Where is
dude, HP Lovecraft name generator. Lovecraftian names here. All right, let's see. Ooh. Here, I'm going to use this one here. I don't even Bradley, you can pronounce this one any way you want because I think they made it up here, but here's a name for you. Etuchlor. It almost sounds like Yiddish Eldritch there.
yeah.
You got the XXH there, but yeah. So,
Carcosa.
ooh, Carcosa. I like that one. Yeah. Yeah, but I literally just Googled HP Lovecraft name generator and boom. I got, God bless Google, man. I got exactly what I
Here's
wanted.
yeah. If you can pause and zoom in on some of this text. Sagal, whom the I'm not gonna repeat that because I'll open like the gate to hell in my backyard. But oh man, wouldn't that be how like like yeah, we're just on a podcast and I read something out of an Alan Moore comic book and my house just gets swallowed up on straight. Our ratings would blow up.
I was
But
like, ain't that a bitch? We just brought about the Ninth Circle Hell on the
yeah,
podcast. Here we're just trying to talk about some Lovecraft stuff. Like,
yeah, we're just trying to
man,
name a plushie.
oh shucks. Oops, all apocalypse.
Did we do that?
Oh, hey, Bradley likes my idea. Yay!
Yes.
See here on the Fanatic Forum, we're problem solvers here.
Yes,
Yep, so.
we offer community service.
Amen to that here. A couple other books to talk about here before we get into Seth time here. Issue 320. But just look at that damn cover. So much action. Just badass Adam Kubert cover there.
Yes. My patriotism level is just rising looking at it.
Just dudes on. Well, of course, you got Agent Helix there too. Which, by the way, shout out to anyone on the spectrum, because Agent Helix should be your personal hero.
Oh,
Because yes, she is on the spectrum and a member of GI Joe, and also sometimes she gets to hang out with Team Ninja and Snake Eyes. So if you want to talk about how badass she gets to hang out with Snake
yeah.
Eyes and go on
Beachhead don't
missions.
even get to do that.
Yeah. And Beachhead wears some mask that looks a lot like Snake Eyes, but we don't
Yeah.
want to talk about that right now. Anyway, but issue 320, a lot of action, still in the great Larry Hama tradition, because Larry Hama is still writing this book here. A lot of fun, but what this leads us into is next month's issue 321. And if you know what 21 means in the G.I. Joe universe, that means the original silent issue. And Larry's going back to the well one more time, baby, because Snake Eyes and Don Moreno, who is basically kind of like the person who, thanks to the Cobra, the brainwave scanner thing, she's got like half of Snake Eyes' memories. So she's basically a badass teenage ninja. So the two of them get to go on a silent mission.
Okay. Oh man.
So I was like, but yeah, so I was like, oh, yeah, just
Yeah.
between regular GI Joe that Larry Hama's writing and Energon Universe GI Joe, Joe fans are eating well right now. We're
I
having a
got
lot of fun.
that silent beachhead issue was really good too. Like, yeah, it's I'm loving. Yeah, get me one of the silent issues of the 321.
I will.
Yeah.
uh, and our last one here, and this is my pick of the week. I gotta definitely talk about this one here. Tate Bromwell's kind of one of my. I really like him as an up and coming writer here, but this is issue 1 of Everything Dead and Dying from Image Comics here. Now, for those of us who have wanted a good zombie book since Walking Dead, and Walking Dead got kind of worn out, and you're wanting that good, interesting tale of a zombie book, this is your one. And if you notice, of course, this looks like a very normal, farmer's milking a cow.
Until, yeah, I was gonna say, until, like, yeah, the cow's all decaying and shit. Like,
So this story basically is of a gentleman who's a farmer, and he happens to be basically a gay man in a small town. And if you know what being a gay man in a small town means he's had a rough life.
right.
So he gets himself a farm kind of on the edge of town, keeps to himself, seems to have a nice life when he's out there. Along the way, times change, tolerance, gets better, and he meets somebody. So the farmer has a prince, and the two of them start building a nice life together. And then along the way, they make a friend who becomes a surrogate mom for them. And then now the farmer and the prince have a princess. And so they have a nice, lovely little life on the farm. And again, times change even further. They can get married, and now they actually have friends in town. And basically, just again, things are going great.
Right.
Then this dang flu comes along and starts taking out people one by one. And of course, when basically they get taken out, they come back. And when they come back hungry. But here's the thing is, our good farmer here, like, this is my friends and family and people around town, and I don't want to kill them. And so you kind of, the opening of this book is kind of a little bit of delusion, a little bit of reality creeping in on that delusion. But nonetheless, what happens is this farmer is basically trying to live amongst the zombies. He feeds them, he kind of keeps an eye on them, he kind of wrangles them, and then when there's the actual farm, he keeps that walled away. And so you have like this, looks like it came straight out of The Walking Dead, this giant brick wall with a big gate and barbed wire and all that kind of stuff. And then you open up, it's this beautiful idyllic farm. With cows and chickens and
Right. Right.
all kinds of stuff, and everybody's doing great. Except every now and then something turns, something gets sick, and you got to take So it's eventually is spreading to the animals too. So it's starting to become a problem. But basically, everything seems to be this idyllic thing until one day a group of intrepid travelers, kind of your Rick Grimes kind of guys, comes across. And well, our friendly mailman, who is zombie, by the way, who still comes by every day for his sampling of, basically, it's probably just like just a cow that just got ground up to everything. So
Right.
everybody's eating ground hamburger. But yeah, basically this group comes along and they see the zombie and pop, and oh wait, there's somebody alive right over there. And then the alive guy's like, oh great, so his entire world comes crashing down on him because this group of normal alive people have stumbled upon his little idyllic, farm.
Right.
And that's where we are in the first issue.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Damn.
yeah, I was like, you know what? That is a good start to a book there. I mean, I kind of I was very intrigued by the storyline,
Yeah.
just in the pitch to it. And then I read it, I'm like, okay, yep. And the art's very good too. We sold out. So Tommy didn't order as many as I thought he would, and we sold out of the thing. So I don't know if we can get any more or if there's a second print coming. But yeah, it went quick, and I was like, dude, if you guys need to buy this, buy it now because it's going fast. So,
Yeah.
It did. So there you go.
That is cool.
See, Bradley says that the cover looks like one of those children's books that actually is an adult book full of it. Yeah, go to After Sleep. I love Go to After Sleep.
Oh yeah, the Go to After Sleep is great.
Oh, hey, V is in the house.
Too sweet.
Too sweet. Yep. Mr. Bradley or Mr. V. Sorry, don't be confused. Mr. V, you are right on time because I am finished with comic book reviews, and you missed it. There was where did I put? Oh, good God! I was like, where did I put the comics? I put them in a different spot than I normally do, and so I just lost my books.
You confused yourself, yeah.
Yeah, and there was only one Batman book this week here, but yeah.
Yeah, we missed our chance to play how many Batmans are there because we would have won because there was only one.
There can be only one.
Only one.
All right, so Seth, you said you've got some movie reviews, and then of course our topic du jour, talking about JFK conspiracy theories. So have at it, sir.
All right. Well, we all know that we're big fans of the Tubi platform. Oh no. We're big fans of the Tubi platform here on the Fanatic Forum, just for their selection of horror films, and I've been getting into their martial arts catalog lately because they've had those new Shout transfers of Hard Boiled and The Killer, Better Tomorrow 1, 2, and 3, City on Fire. Chinese Ghost Story, I believe, is also in there.
Oh, I haven't seen Chinese Ghost Story in like 30 years, man.
Yeah, I think Chinese Ghost Story is one of those is in that package. But yeah, search on Tubi, and now it's the 4K transfers, but they're broadcast in 720. But still, they look better than they ever have, and they've got like dubbed and subtitled versions, right? So it's like I watched A Better Tomorrow and The Killer. I watched those, yeah, and of course, we all know those were great, right? So then, I got this kind of wild hair at my butt that I wanted to watch something a little different. And I remembered that I've got all kinds of movies here that I haven't watched all of them yet. It's like part of the fun of having this is I'm in the mood for this. I haven't seen it yet, so I busted out this guy from Vinegar Syndrome that I got a while back, Burning Paradise, directed by Ringo Lam. Right.
Oh, I love Ringo. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the second in what is dubbed his Apocalypse trilogy. And so that's the alternative cover art for it. And another alternate title is Burning Paradise in Hell. Okay. But this is, imagine a Shaw Brothers wuxia film, except that it is Takeshi Mike level violence. And yeah. And it's got a lot of Temple of Doom thrown in there because, it's a studio martial arts wuxia picture, but there's blood and limbs flying everywhere, decapitations and blood. Yeah, it's brutal, it's violent, and then the whole temple that they're in is filled with these booby traps that are just grotesque and torturous. But it's a great martial arts wuxia film that it's got some weirdly placed comedy that works too, almost like it's a stage play at times, but highly recommended. A lot of fun. Definitely a lot more violent than what you would expect, though. Think of almost Lone Wolf and Cub, Shogun Assassin levels of violence, and that's where we're getting with that one.
Nice.
So definitely check that one out.
Oh, Bradley's saying that Tubi doesn't really have boobies, but it has cool, scary movies.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on which movies you're watching.
Yeah.
Like if you get into some action movies, especially 80s and 90s, there's movies in there.
Yeah, there's always movies in 80s or
There's a
90s.
lot of sex comedies from the 70s and 80s stuff in there. There's definitely movies in
Yeah.
there. I think most of the
Which,
police.
yeah,
You
which,
gotta know where to look, but they don't have as many horror movies that got boobies in there. There's plenty of other movies with boobies in there.
right, yeah. And there's also a YouTube channel called This Aged Great that does these little 10-minute breakdowns of 80s comedies and about how they didn't age very well at all. And it's hysterical because it'll explain that it's like Over the Top was one of the movies, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
like, yeah, and it's like, yeah, so it's a guy telling his buddy about the plot of the movie. And he's like, so it's about this dad and he's a truck driver, but he's a shitty dad. And he makes his kid ride around with him and go to bars and arm wrestling contests. So the kid tries to tell him he's a shitty dad. Like they do it a lot better and a lot funnier. But yeah, definitely check that one out. But it tells you which movies have boobies too.
Oh, there you go. Nice. That's very useful.
Yeah.
Because as all of us, as part of the Joe Bob Mutant family, we like our blood, beast, boobies, and more.
Boobies and more. Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, Joe Bob goes live or airs tonight at 9. So after that, I'm gonna it's perversions and something else night. So it's gonna be 2 religious movies. So after one, if we don't ramble too much longer, which we're totally going to. You're gonna miss the first hour if you watch this, but you can catch it on demand.
That's okay.
But,
and then of course he's got a big Halloween spectacular coming up, which is that's the 200th episode, and all we know about it is that Guar's going to be there.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't wait to see that one.
And so, but we don't know what the movies are, and so you've even suggested, like, is it going to be the movies that Guar has made?
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping so because they've done some weird ones on the drive-in, like Hell Comes to Frogtown and stuff like that.
Yeah, but yeah,
so it's possible.
Yeah. So, and your next selection here?
Yeah, my next selection is now this guy's on Tubi, and it's got a terrible ass title called Twilight of the Warriors Walled In. It's originally based off of a novel called City of Darkness, and that's where what the title is in a lot of other places. But you can find it on Tubi under that name.
Okay.
But let me tell you, this is probably one of the best modern martial arts movies I've seen.
Ooh.
It came out last year. It is set in 1980s Hong Kong in the famous walled city, like with that area that was kind of like the no man's land where like 35,000 people lived in it. And it's like, it's the place where the Kumite was set in Bloodsport.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's also how they proved that the Kumite was horseshit because like if they had, because like the sheer number of people that were quoted as being there in the Kumite and Bloodsport was 75,000. The Walled City never had any more than 35,000. But yeah, it's a claustrophobic martial arts epic. And it's like, it goes back to like the whole like, great martial arts fight scenes, heroic bloodshed themes. Sammo Hung is in it, kicking ass. Still. Yeah. It's just the story on this is great. The last 30 minutes of it, like the fight scenes up until the last 30 minutes are great, but then like once you're so invested in this damn story, and I watch the dub. I'm a dub guy with my martial arts movies because it's like
you're watching the action. And I get it because you're visually attracted to what's going on. You don't want to be distracted by having to read the dialogue.
So, right, yeah, and it's like and anymore, it's like we're not talking about like Shakespearean dialogue here. Like they're getting the point across with the dubs and the translation. I'm not upset. But no, it's like if you want something to watch tonight after Joe Bob, or maybe to supplement it if you want to catch it later, watch this ASAP because this movie is I cannot recommend it enough. It is. I don't understand why people are not screaming this movie's praises to the top of the hills because it's incredible. It's got old school martial arts kung fu shot in a very modern style, and just some of the stunt work in there is very old school remnant. They don't make them like this anymore.
I'm in on both movies. Yeah, they'll sound both of them. Is the first movie, is that also on Tubi as well?
It's not on Tubi. You can now the Vinegar Syndrome has the Blu-ray that you can get the regular edition now. But I believe you can still find this on YouTube. It's just it's going to be in like a VHS quality copy, but still, it's a good movie. It's definitely worth watching. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, both those sound awesome. But yeah. Twilight of the Warriors. That's
I was actually going to suggest because I've just been getting into Hong Kong cinema again. Let's do a Hong Kong cinema episode next week.
Okay. I mean, no, I don't like Hong Kong cinema.
Or let's just branch it out to like Asian cinema, East Asian cinema, so we could
Okay,
cover like Thailand and not just Hong Kong, Japan, because a lot of that stuff gets influenced with each other, and
totally,
like it's
totally.
yeah, it's and it's oh man, yeah, well, yeah, let's oh man, I could go nuts on that one. But let me
Well, there
let
we
me
go.
let me
We just planned our next week there. There you
yeah, right, live on the air. You all got it.
go. You heard it first, folks.
Exactly. So now the coup du jour,
Yes, let's do
what
this.
everybody has come here for.
V has been patiently waiting on edge for weeks. Didn't
Yeah,
think this was going to happen. So,
it has been a long time coming.
but that's because that our man Pepe has decided he wanted to do his good research, his due diligence on here. So I respect
Yes.
that. So
Yeah.
he didn't want to do this until he was ready to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's because it's like, okay, so I got to start off with a little preamble with the JFK assassination is one of those things that it's like, we're never really going to be able to, with 100% accuracy, say what happened. It's just,
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
not going to work.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things like we're never going to know who Jack the Ripper was. We're never going to know who the Zodiac killer was. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just stuff like that. Now there's a lot of weird things that happened with the JFK assassination. And it's like you're familiar with the Oliver Stone movie. That was what originally drew my interest
Yeah.
into the assassination of John F. Kennedy, because that movie was so good, and it's an excellent film. It's
Hmm.
also historical horseshit. Yeah, so it's like if you're basing any of 98% of your conspiracy knowledge, if you're basing that off of JFK, then you are incorrect. Now, one thing that I will give it credit for with accuracy is the passion that people have dug into this to try and understand it, because something did happen on November 22nd, 1963 in Dealey Plaza, and it was not just the shooting of John F. Kennedy. That history changed greatly that day, and there's been a lot of speculation as to what actually happened. Did Oswald act alone? Did he fire the 3 shots from the book depository? Were there shots from a grassy knoll? That was the other common thing. The Warren Commission, it supposedly addressed a lot of these things, and there was the House subcommittee of 79. That went back through and reevaluated everything. And according to them, there was a strong likelihood that conspiracy was involved.
Hmm.
So it's just one of those things that it's like it's just fed into this. It's a very uniquely American story, because it was in one of the most politically volatile times that we can remember. Because one thing we got to remember too, the United States, like, we're barely 200 years old.
Yeah.
Like, we're still baby compared to a lot of world governments, compared to Britain, who colonized half the goddamn world before
Hmm.
we were even thought of in a bar somewhere by British revolutionaries. Which we're going to get into the British colonization of Hong Kong too next week, because that's going to get into some of the stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, so there's we came to America as a world power came to power very quickly and very chaotically in a lot of things. And so a lot of these like political situations that stemmed from things like the Bay of Pigs, for example, and Kennedy's response to that, which was, sorry, I got written. Well, it's
Oh yeah.
the
You have
yeah.
notes.
Yeah, I have notes. Yeah, so the Bay of Pigs, Kennedy's response in the Bay of Pigs,
Hmm.
was, which if you know your history, was it was a very black, very dark spot on the country at the time, and it was exposed. The CIA got exposed to doing a lot of very shady things.
Yeah.
Kennedy kind of threw them under the bus. Well, there was no kind of. Kennedy did throw them under the bus. It was a time when it was not unheard of for different powers that be in the United States to openly butt heads with one another. There was no unifying force. So that was a number one prevailing conspiracy theory, was that Kennedy got in the way of the true people of power, and they conspired to have Oswald, the lone nut job, manipulated him Machiavellianly
Mm-hmm.
Is that the word? Or in a Machiavellian like fashion?
Yeah, basically, a
Yeah,
very
yeah. In order to take these shots. Now going back and looking at Oswald, Oswald was a character in and of itself. A lot of what we know about Oswald is factual and it's true. Oswald wanted to be a Soviet citizen so bad that he tried to defect there multiple times. He actually made it into the Soviet Union at one point, and then they realized, hey, this guy is kind of an idiot and doesn't know shit. So we're going to send him back. So they send him back. And then he gets back, he can never truly renounces his United States citizenship. So he can keep coming and going as he pleases, right?
right.
But
Oh,
Russia won't take him back a second time, even after Oswald tries to join the military and then use that as leverage to say that he knows state secrets and can give them to the Russians. And the Russians are like, okay, well, what do you know that isn't boot camp? Like we know all that stuff. There's nothing like, he had no access to anything. Like the military powers that be in the United States government knew that Oswald was not a person that you put in any form of responsibility.
right.
And he was a very angry young man who was very easily manipulated and weirdly antisocial and contrarian. So he's going around and he's going like he's got his Russian wife that he was basically like forced her into marrying him. That whole situation, the marriage that he had was bizarre, and mostly for citizenship status to get him in and out of Russia too. It was like one of his lynch points was that he married a Russian woman.
Right.
But he did join the military. He did take he was an average shot. He was not a marksman. He was not he also just happened to have joined the military in the time that the CIA was also doing weird ass shit with like MK Ultra and things like that. So it's like
Lots of experimentation.
yeah, lots of experimentation. So we know that these two timetables overlap. However, there is no real conclusive proof that Oswald was involved in any of these MK Ultra like Manchurian Candidate kind of dealings. That's like people like wanted like looking at 2 points and saying like, oh wow, that yeah.
Yeah, you make a conclusion because these two things line up. Well, just because they line up don't necessarily mean that they were involved with each other. It's
Right,
just they do line up.
Yeah, you could say that like anybody that had a criminal record in the military, you could try and say that, just because they committed a felony while they were in the military that, MK Ultra didn't have anything to do with it. It's, same kind of deal.
Yeah.
So the CIA connection is kind of dubious at best, at least as far as direct involvement, because really that what does the CIA gain from knocking off the president and putting Johnson in power? Because it's like Johnson played ball a little bit more, but Johnson was still a dickhead.
Yeah. Johnson was a hillbilly.
Yeah, Johnson was a hillbilly that that literally liked to use his dick as leverage.
Yeah.
And it was
literally.
Yeah, literally. Like look that up. Like historically speaking, but Johnson wasn't going to do anything that Johnson didn't want to do. So that kind of takes out the CIA thing. The idea that the idea that the CIA was involved, that's kind of put to bed. There's this going back to the Soviet connection. Now, this also involved the prevailing theory is that the Soviets kind of brainwashed and planted Oswald to also be a Cuban sympathizer, because at the time, like the whole thing with Castro and Kennedy, like the Cuban Missile Crisis is going on.
Right.
Very famous incident, the 7 days in May, where it was just like we were literally on the brink of nuclear war.
Yeah. That's legit.
Yeah. Closer than we've ever been, that we've ever knowingly been. In his the nation was just a terrible time. But Cuba was like housing missiles that the Russians would in theory use to strike against us. So Kennedy had to make the decision like, what do we do? Do we strike first or do we wait? And because it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of deal. Thankfully, we're still here talking about it right now.
Yeah, but it was a game of chicken and the world was on the line.
Yeah, exactly. So there's the idea that because that didn't go through, that the Russians had, infiltrated, or had gotten through Oswald through his Cuban connections, because Oswald was also a very big communist Cuban sympathizer.
Yeah.
But he was also Oswald was one of those, like, you know how, like, when you were in college and there was the guy that would always talk about, like, well, socialism is really, like, the greatest thing, and like they were insufferable about it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Oswald was that guy, except that, like, he was not self-aware. He didn't have any of the charm that, like, most of those, like, high or those college socialists and communists do, where it's like they're idealistic up until, like, the money runs out, and then, they can't. Yeah, it's yeah.
Yeah.
Oswald was at least more of a true believer than those guys, but
Yeah, Oswald always rang as more of like the Timothy McVeigh kind of feel, where like they were just like insufferable. It was just like all they wanted to talk about was their theories, their idealism, how they would run the world, sort of stuff like that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And now Oswald did make very weird friends during all this, and he got a lot of attention. And now also too, the CIA was paying attention to Oswald, because you've got a guy not only who's gone to Russia multiple times to try and defect, he's also been part of the military, and he's doing a lot of interstate travel between Florida, Louisiana, and Texas,
mm,
and he's just moving back and forth there. So it's like yeah, of course, Miami and Florida with the Cuban connections.
yep,
Louisiana, he was dealing with a lot of, like, there was Clay Shaw and Tommy Lee Jones character from
JFK,
the JFK movie. Yeah, that guy actually, he did come out, like, he did have CIA ties. Clay Shaw
yeah,
did, but that was also, he was a very, like, he was a businessman entrenched. So it's like he wasn't necessarily like a government asset, but
yeah,
it's like technically JFK, the movie didn't lie about that. How much involvement he had in the conspiracy to kill the president is dubious at best, also.
yeah.
But it did give us the great performance of Joe Pesci playing David Ferry, the weird guy with alopecia who painted his own eyebrows on. And let me tell you, like, if you watch the movie JFK, Joe Pesci's going to look real weird in that movie. Don't look up pictures of the real David Ferry if you want to sleep at night, because it's just, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's something out of a nightmare. But these were all of, and I'm not saying that to people with alopecia. I've known many people with alopecia. They just don't, like, paint their eyebrows on into, like, horrible blocks that, like, it's, yeah,
He took it to a freaky level. Yeah.
yeah, it was very the uncanny valley done come and gone
Hmm.
with this one. But
Hmm.
yeah, Oswald was associating with these guys, and of
Yeah.
course, like, yeah, they're also tied in with they're also tied in with the mob down there, because all of this criminal underworld stuff. It's just it's all intersecting, but not because it's become conspiratorial.
Right.
Excuse me. It's a lot of crooked powers trying to keep an eye on each other. And so it's just what happens, and it's like none of them had the idea. Now, I'm not saying that none of them had this whole idea of, like, hey, go shoot a president,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's I sincerely don't believe that any of them were trying to goad Oswald into doing it. So yeah, that part, the the Soviet and the Cuban plot, like, the Cubans were trying to figure out how to kill Kennedy on their own. They
Sure.
didn't need Oswald to do it. And of course, the CIA was also trying to figure out how to kill Castro too, with the whole itching powder. And, like, there was, yeah, there were so many different plots to try and, like, yeah, Oswald would not have been the method that the Cubans used to
No.
get to Kennedy. Number one, I sincerely think that if they would have put like, a woman would have been the best way to get to Kennedy if they really wanted to assassinate him, because we famously know that JFK would be missing for, like, hours at a time with, like, nuclear codes that we would need in case Russia did nuke us, and we would be sitting ducks for hours undefended.
Yeah,
But yeah,
there have been many world leaders who have been classic poon hounds, but there has been none greater than John F. Kennedy.
yes, then John F. Kennedy.
Yes,
Supposedly, there's
I
also
mean he had a relationship with Marilyn Monroe, for God's sake. I
yeah,
mean, like one of the most beautiful women at the time, and his presidency, like he like it. Picture whatever Sydney Sweeney, whoever the most attractive woman you
yeah,
think of right now. JFK nailed that one.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like, yeah, dude had game. Yeah.
Did you see? Did you? This is a little side tangent. Did you ever see that thing about like there was that 8 mm sex video of Marilyn Monroe, and the partner that she was with was rumored to be Bobby Kennedy. But
Really?
like, yeah, so it's
I,
like, yeah, this there.
I'd always heard about there's the potential of like a sex video, but now I never heard it was Bobby was in
Yeah, it was. Well, it's supposed the male who's in it. You never actually see his face, from what I understand,
there. Okay.
because of the video. The reel has never come out.
Yeah.
If it even exists in the first place. But yeah, it's like because it's like I'm not even necessarily sure that it might be a real thing. It's like I just But then again, 10 years ago, if you would have told me there were topless pictures of Betty White out there, I never would have believed you either. But there are. Uh, Not when she was old. When she was young and hot.
When she
Uh,
was young, yeah.
yeah. But going back to our conspiracy lists, LBJ and the military industrial complex.
Oh,
Yeah, so another rumor or another idea was that since right after Kennedy was assassinated, it was only like days, maybe even hours before LBJ signed the documents that basically started the Vietnam War.
yeah.
And so there was the prevailing theory that JFK wouldn't play ball because he was of the mindset that his very famous quote, about the conflict in North Vietnam, it's their war. They're going to have to either win it or lose it. He
Hmm.
did not want to be involved in it because he saw what happens. Like the Vietnam is a whole clusterfuck in and of itself because of like
Yep.
what happened with like the French colonialization. They tried to be Britain. Like world history, man. Like read up on this because it gets fascinating as all hell, especially how like we tried to white up Asia and failed miserably.
Oh,
And yeah, it's
Vietnam itself has had a
yeah.
really really rough
Oh
history.
yeah, the My Lai massacre was like yeah that was what the big like the French I believe it was the My Lai massacre was the big French loss there that basically caused them to pull out of Vietnam.
That sounds
Uh,
that sounds about right. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it was We Were Soldiers covers that like that Mel Gibson movie. Like it
Yeah.
covers the first part of that. Great movie in and of itself, by the way.
It really was. Yeah.
Yeah. But basically because yeah, Kennedy didn't want to play ball in any of the Eastern Asian war conflicts. There and of course war is very profitable. There's a lot of money going to it. People think that the power, the shadow government, the deep state, if I was Alex Jones, would have had Kennedy shot because he just wouldn't play ball, wouldn't get him all the money.
Yeah.
Again, that sounds like a bunch of horse shit.
Yeah.
Like yeah, especially with like Kennedy didn't want to go to war. Kennedy wanted to kind of go back to more of an isolationist idea set, like what we had
Right.
prior to World War II.
Hmm.
Because everybody liked to give Japan shit about being isolationist.
Right.
America was the same way. That was why we had such a big manufacturing boom in the 20s after the Depression,
Yep.
in the 30s and 40s after World War II, and the manufacturing booms. Like, yeah, that was why. Like, we were trying to do everything in house. We didn't need anything else anywhere. Like, we were just gonna stay the course, and do our
Right.
yeah. But so yeah, but I just that whole deal, yeah, I just never bought that because there was always going to be like conflicts and war. Russia was wreaking all kinds of shit in Afghanistan at the time. Like
Right.
there were all kinds of wars going on that we could have stuck our nose in if we really wanted to. Profitability be damned.
Well, and just the most simplistic answer was Kennedy was a forward thinking kind of guy. He wanted to try a new way of things. And Johnson was very old school. Well,
Yeah,
we got a problem over there. Let's go solve it. Blow them up there. I mean, because
yeah,
literally, I mean, I'm not being facetious. Listen to some of Johnson's addresses. Phone calls has been recorded when he's like trying to get his pants tailored and stuff like that. He's literally a Kentucky hillbilly.
yeah. Yeah, very much so. And yeah, and that was how they did the card at the time, like politically, like because like the Republican nominee for president,
Yeah.
until or he was in one of the primaries to be the Republican. Yeah. Anyway, the consensus was that Kennedy named Johnson his vice president because it would be a strong Democrat and a strong Republican.
Right.
Basically serving in office together like that was the idea. The whole thing of checks and balances. There wasn't any of this current horse shit where it's like you want all the people that agree with you. No, you wanted differing opinions, and
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, there was.
Well, yeah, it was a good again. It was another forward thinking. Like, let's get both sides of the fence working on
Yeah.
this, and so we can always have a differing opinion if need be. So yeah,
Right, yeah. And now this is not to say that Kennedy did not have his fair share of detractors. You know, people did not like some of his policy. You know,
Oh
it's like
no, yeah,
he
yeah.
wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't a white knight by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, he
Uh,
just was to housewives, any Catholic and the Northeast. So
yeah. So a lot of those just kind of go off to the wayside. But now let's go back to the nuts and bolts. Let's go to Daily Plaza
Okay.
the day of the moments before. You know, the people are seeing too, like the yeah, now a lot of the stuff is true. The parade route changed. You know, the very early on, the timetable changed. A
Hmm.
lot of stuff changed. But now, correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't think I am, but that's why I'm asking you to verify. You worked in TV news a lot, so you know a
I
lot
sure did.
about political events. How
Yeah.
many of them have ever gone off on time or exactly how they were specified to be in the first place?
Never. They're always
Exactly.
late. There's always last minute changes. Somebody gets a wild hair up their ass. And it's like, you know what? I don't like the background here. Let's go here. And it's not a
Yeah,
security. Basically, these are basically, yes men, no men, whatever else that are working with the political figure that are making all these decisions. And then basically security has to react from there.
exactly.
And then
Yeah,
basically the media reacts from
yeah.
there. So yeah.
Yeah, November 22nd, 1963, the same thing was going on there. The parade route changes. So yeah, that's why there was a lot of open windows. That's why there was, a lot of things just happened to line up, and some of the changes were just arbitrary. Some of them were like not that, believe it or not, like there's a lot of this prevailing thing that like there was no real fear of a presidential assassination prior to Kennedy because the last one that had been successful was like, Johnson or whatever,
Right.
not Johnson, Jackson or what? Yeah, well, a
Yeah.
lot like 90
It's been a
years.
while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
No, they were still on point. They realized that Kennedy was a Democrat in Republican Texas.
Yeah.
And so it's like they were very conscious about the idea that they needed to keep him safe. Uh,
Hmm.
but but Kennedy, that they were still doing the open top limo. It's like that's why the president doesn't ride an open top limo anymore. But so that part is confirmed.
Yep.
But there were still security concerns. People were still, out and around. It's not like, the Secret Service just went totally lat. Now, they did go out and party pretty heavily the night before, which
Hmm.
remember that fact because we're going to come back into it here in just a minute.
Yeah,
Uh,
which is that fact alone is very indicative of Secret Service training and procedure in 1963 versus 2025.
yeah,
Uh, Basically, your training is much more is much more intense. It's much more militaristic, sort of thing like that. Much more law enforcement directed, basically the night before is something where you're supposed to be protecting a high profile target, like the damn president of the United States. You wouldn't go out and party the night before.
yeah. Well, so you also got to think to remember that this is 63. Like
Yeah.
this is where like not many incidents. Yeah, there have been like horrific incidents between World War II and then, but like for the most part, like the world was a 9 to 5 world. It's like people went to offices for the most part of the day. They might the grocery
It,
store might be open till 7 or 8. But it's like your partner was at home and went to the grocery store while you did earned the living, and then you'd come home. And so that was a lot of the United States mentality too. So it's like once you had your time, you did it. If you wanted to have a couple of drinks, that was how you blew off steam and what you did.
yep.
uh so it's like that behavior wasn't necessarily abnormal to me.
No,
Yeah,
it wasn't, but it's still. You're right though. It does still very much play a part.
yeah, very very much so. uh but then so that also leaves the parade route changing and everything, leaves openings for things like the grassy knoll, where you have yeah, and of course nowadays you would never have as many people in completely uncontrolled areas that you had all over Dealey Plaza that day. And
Right.
of course you can go online and look at the diagrams of like all the people and see the films and like everything. Like it's a logistical nightmare. But you also have to remember too that one of the prevailing points of this whole idea is that you get a triangulation of fire, with from 3 different points. So the book depository, the grassy knoll, and another point that was supposedly like from some other angle. You can find all that in Jim Garrison's book if you want to, which again is
Yeah.
weird, horseshit. uh but Remember last week when we were talking about sound?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how, no two people can have the same experience with sound.
Hmm.
So imagine you're already in a crowded plaza where a parade is going on, and then gunshots start going off, and you're in an area where building like sound is not you're on your side
Yeah, it's
at all,
that
right?
sound reverberating. Yeah.
Exactly. So keep that in mind too. So I believe that is a large part of where like the whole theory of a shot from the grassy knoll came from,
Hmm.
because of sound reverberation.
Right.
And people are saying they saw a wisp of smoke coming off of that. Now the bullets that shot Kennedy that have impacted, they do not smoke when a bullet ejects or leaves the barrel.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. That's just what they might have saw was cigar smoke or fog or something. But yeah, it
Something.
wasn't
Yeah.
a bullet from a shooter.
No.
Yeah. But then going back to going back to what we were talking about with the sound and the grassy knoll thing,
Hmm.
uh, the trajectory of the bullets takes us into a lot of people's favorite theory and the thing that they like to point out, as so Seinfeld so hilariously parodied the magic bullet,
Yep.
right? And then this was a big famous scene in JFK too, where they try and
It-
explain the trajectory of the bullet going
Back
around, and
and
yeah,
to the left.
back and to the left, back and to the left,
Yeah.
back and to the left. Now, all that works if you're thinking that it's a regular passenger car with
Sure.
two seats in the front, two seats in the back. It wasn't. It was a parade. It was a limo designed for a parade.
Yeah.
So it was also designed to keep the primary person in focus, the primary person being Kennedy.
Yeah.
Connolly, the senator that was in the chair, that was the guy that got hit with in the wrist with the whole thing. His chair was in a lower situation, or a lower seating area, and
Yeah.
he was kind of at a weirder angle. So like the bullet trajectory straight up matches, from Oswald's shot in the book depository. Like the trajectory matches when you look at it like that. So it's a straight ass shot. There was nothing magical. The magic bullet also would imply that there needed to be a second, or a second gun, or a second bullet hole in the limousine, and there was not.
Right.
So the magic bullet theory is kind of debunked. So we've come all the way around. Gotten kind of into the past of it. We've gotten kind of into the present. We're now in our mind's eye. We're at the Zapruder film part where the shots are coming out.
Yeah.
Over, and now imagine that you're Lee Harvey Oswald, okay, and you're up in that book depository, and this is before you've taken the first shot. You've got Kennedy lined up in your sights, and you take the first shot. First shot misses. We know that with absolute 100% certainty. The first shot misses.
Yeah.
So Oswald, bolt action rifle, racks it up, does it again. Boom. He scores a hit that time, right? So racks it again, but Kennedy, like he does the whole neck thing, right?
Yeah.
Imagine you're Oswald and you line up for that third shot, and you're about to squeeze the trigger, but then you hear another gunshot going off, and then you see the president do the whole. That's the back and to the left, the back and to the left, the back. What the fuck? What was he thinking at that time? Like,
Yeah.
huh? Now,
Yeah.
going from the book depository to on the ground, I want to bring up a gentleman, a Secret Serviceman by the name of George Hickey,
Mm.
who was in the car behind Kennedy. And what the theory that I am most likely subscribing to,
Hmm.
the coup du jour of what happened is the first shot rings out. Kennedy leans forward to Connolly and asks, "Is that a gunshot?" Second shot happens, hits Kennedy. George Hickey is responding, but sound is going everywhere. Everybody's freaking the hell out. Everybody's looking in the
Yep.
opposite direction of where they think that these shots are. Which, of course, you got people like some of them are looking straight where it's supposed to go because they see Oswald with the rifle sticking
Hmm.
out. Some people are looking over at the grassy knoll. We already know that because they think that they see smoke. Some people are looking over in these other places. What
Yep.
they're not looking at is George Hickey, the Secret Service agent who brings up his newly uh, issued AR-15 assault rifle and raises it and shoots Kennedy in the back of the head. And yeah, and so
Wow.
yeah, So you have suddenly in light of this, so many things make more sense because the trajectory of the three bullets, there were three shots fired. Yeah, Oswald maybe didn't necessarily fire all three of them, but Oswald acted alone in this scenario.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, However, he was not here. Now, his bullet would have killed Kennedy eventually because I believe that it was the bullet that hit him in the neck when he grabbed it that was severed his spinal cord, and at the very least, he would have been a paraplegic
Oh wow.
had he survived. Yeah. Now, the fatal shot was, of course, the shot where we see Kennedy's brain coming out the back of his head.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, and of course, in all of the rampant chaos, no one knows what is going on. You got half hungover Secret Service agents trying to do the best they can in a bad situation.
Yeah.
The limo's going off, and of course, we all know what happens. We all know what happens with Oswald's movements after that. Like he's running at
Yeah.
this point. And of course, like there's all the shenanigans with like the bullet in the hospital. Getting getting Kennedy out of there, like where Connolly's wounds, trying to figure all that stuff out. But then poor George Hickey, the Secret Service agent who was trying to do his best and just made the biggest workplace accident fuck up in history.
Wow.
Is there now? If you are the United States government, you can't say that the Secret Service popped your president because what
Right.
good are they then? Yeah, especially because we're the United States. We cannot look weak. We cannot look like the Keystone Cops here.
And then
And
here's the
so
guys protecting our leader, and they're literally the Keystone Cops. Wow.
right, yeah, exactly. So it is absolutely in our best interest to try and not we're never going to cover it up. We've got a perfect we got the patsy up here, and
Yeah.
he even says as much before Jack Ruby shoots him. I'm just a patsy. I'm just a patsy. Like that's what him seeing that third shot through the scope. He didn't pull that trigger. He
Mm-hmm.
didn't take the killing shot. So it's like that he saw that as his out. So
Yeah.
yeah, there was definitely he knew something was up. And of course, but now I'm also not a person that thinks that Jack Ruby was on the employee of the United States government because Jack Ruby was an idiot.
Yeah.
Jack Ruby was a nightclub owner, a tough guy who wanted to be in the mob, and he thought that this was going to be his big into patriotism. And he lived like a king in prison, apparently.
Yeah.
Supposedly just wanted to be a patriot and save Jackie Kennedy the trouble of testifying, and was going to take matters into his own hands. But all of this stuff just adds to it and conflates the whole narrative. And why would the United States government not want to have anything else other than obscurification of it? Because this is the perfect thing. Either the government is so good at like they can take out their own president if need be with these conspiracy theories, if you were to believe that, or the government just needs to not be shown in such a less than favorable light to the rest of the world. And it just once you think about it, like it's the only it makes sense. But
It really does, because if you go into think like, if you believe in conspiracy theories, there's always a shadow organism, there's always somebody behind the guy, there's someone else, this. If you don't believe in that stuff, it's like none of that stuff is real. Yes, there are some very wealthy people who are in power and have a lot of influence, but for the most part, the folks who are in the positions of power barely know what they're doing for the most part.
yeah,
There's a lot of idiots who are in control of the world, and they are very easily manipulated by money, by fame, by a legacy, stuff like that. So they're very
yeah.
easily purchased.
And another thing too, like we look at how the narrative is framed as well with this, because if you think about it in one way too, this is really and we've seen this happen, last September. How close one man can get, to taking shots at a political figure.
Yeah.
Which and it's like, and you never want to think about it like this, but it's like these are also like this these are changes that one or two people are affecting all throughout history.
Yeah.
And it's like you're talking like Timothy McVeigh, you mentioned him. It's like that was him.
Mm-hmm.
One man deciding to try and change it and did.
Yeah.
Negatively, absolutely. Oswald is another one. It's like there is something to be said about the determination of what one man can do, but we need to focus that determination and realize what we can do positively instead of destructively with it. And I think that's one thing that we can take away with, this whole idea is that,
Wow.
one person can do great and terrible things.
Mhm.
And just so
Well,
just yeah.
here's a question I've got. What happened to
Okay.
George Hickey?
So right after that all happens, George Hickey gets posted somewhere in bumfuck Alaska. And yeah, now he is on Secret Service detail for a working president, but one of the retired.
Yeah. He- yeah.
And yeah, later, yeah, his Secret Service career lasts about 5 years after that. And
Wow.
he passed away in 1994, and of course he denied it. The theory has been floated around since the early 80s.
Yeah.
That it might have been an accident, and a lot of the things, like a lot of evidence that keeps coming out and like new discovery, because like in 1986, I believe it was, there was a magazine that had a record that had the police audio, the police band audio of what had happened in
Really?
Daily Plaza. Yeah, somebody had recorded off a ham radio somehow, right? So like this dude, and then now this recording had been out there for however long, right? So like
Yeah.
this one dude just happens to get the magazine and listens to it, and he knows things about sound. So he's able to like, okay, well, it's like no, it's like that's also where the echo reverberation like thing comes,
Yeah. Yeah.
because it's like yeah, like he studied, like he was able to study the record, and just from the shitty recording that somebody got off of a ham radio was actually able to corroborate a lot of the evidence, like at least as far as like the audio evidence with it. And yeah,
That's
yeah, it's a cheap record that was like a thing in a newspaper. This was like basically like a stiffer version of a perfume ad.
yeah.
And yeah, because it's like yeah, record, you can make a record really easily, like to
Oh yeah. Yeah, back in the day, you got like sample records of like, or little kids would get stuff. I mean, yeah,
yeah,
then you get some really, really cheap stuff like that. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's like the equivalent of like getting the Captain Crunch whistle that you find out it's the same frequency that can trick phones to do long distance phone calls.
Yes. Old school
So,
phone freaks. Yes,
yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
Well, so,
Yeah.
yeah, Bradley's got a good question here. This is, of
Yeah,
course,
what's
very
up?
a little tongue in cheek here. So basically, what you're saying is that one of JFK's guys accidentally shot him, and then basically pinned it on Lee Harvey Oswald to avoid getting the government in trouble.
I mean, yeah, putting
Yeah.
a pin in, yeah,
Yep. Pretty much. They're like,
yeah,
oh man, we just shot one of our. Oh, I just shot Marvin in the face. Oh
yeah.
man. Yeah.
Whoops. Yeah,
Yeah. And so, oh wait, oh hey, that guy up in the tower there, he was shooting at us, right? He did it.
yeah.
Which?
Let's get him, guys.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing
Yeah,
is basically like this theory takes away all the power of a lot of conspiracy theories of like the government's in control of everything. Nah,
yeah.
nah.
And now you will find like if you're going to look any of this up online, you're going to find people that totally just cannot, will not, that they have their own theories, and
Yeah.
what, more power to them. They got the reasons for believe it and everything. This is one of those things though. It takes, some people would say, it takes the fun out of it, right? Because it's like it doesn't, like Oswald. Yeah, Oswald doesn't act, or Oswald does act alone. The
Mhm.
government is involved, but it's not in any way that you want, that you almost want it to be.
Right.
Like yeah, it's almost like finding out that Barney's just a dude in a suit. When you were a kid, like yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, Santa Claus isn't real. There is no tooth fairy.
yeah,
We actually did go to the moon, and yeah, Kennedy was
yeah,
shot by one of his own guys on an accident.
yeah,
Wah, wah. But there you go. As Bad Religion once said, sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. So there you go.
exactly, exactly. Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, it is weird that like there's the world's chaos, man, and we just try and put patterns into it, and we
Yeah,
we need to say sometimes, yeah, there is just a lone nut job that is trying to take pot shots, and then this,
yeah,
all of these things happen at once that are weird. If it would have happened anywhere else, if it would have happened in Oklahoma, I think that you could have said the same thing. You could have picked it, like, had any number of things with it, and
or even the Luigi guy who took out the healthcare dude. I mean, like he was
yeah,
literally just acting alone.
right, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And
But it's
yeah,
just but it's kind of the same thing too. Like now you're going to get a lot of executives who are in charge of companies who are going to start having more security detail because of that. And it's kind of the same thing. It's like there was the audacity of like, no one's going to touch us. We're driving an open, limo, things like that. We're, wide open for all kinds of shots from things like that. No one's going to touch us. Oh, they did. Well, okay, close it up. Let's go. Yeah.
There was a theory right after that happened that one of the reasons why Elon Musk kept getting photographed with his kid so much was because he was kind of using his kid to not to deflect or to deter people that would be inclined.
Operation Human Shield.
Yeah,
Yep.
pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't surprise
I hope that was
me.
worth it. I hope that was worth the wait, V, and I hope I satiated your all's curiosity and made it worthwhile for the wait.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by that stuff, and taking the piss out of all the JFK theories, and like literally a dude that was still half drunk shot his boss in the face.
Yeah.
I don't. Okay. It's still terrible that we lost somebody, but like that. But it's like it's also really funny.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now,
There you go. V says it was worth
thank
the
you,
wait.
V. Thank you.
Yay!
Just as a follow up to, I want to suggest the Illuminatus trilogy. It is a book trilogy. If you've never heard of it, the underlying premise of it is that every conspiracy theory is real. No matter what, even if they contradict one another, they still have to be real. So, and it was written by these two dudes that worked for Playboy, right, in the letters column.
Okay.
So they would get all the, like, they would get the regular letters, but then they would get these crackpot conspiracy letters, and they just decided to have fun with it. So it's like it's this weird book that shifts perspectives so many times because these two reporters are trying to chase this conspiracy lead while the conspiracy stuff is actually happening. But then there's other stuff like the world banking conspiracy is conflicting with some other like conspiracy, and it's like it's it's so bizarre, but it's a fascinating read. It's like an acid trip on paper.
Nice.
But yeah, read it for the fun tongue-in-cheek thing that it is, because it's another thing that just absolutely takes the piss out of conspiracy theories.
Two things I can recommend. If you like your JFK conspiracy theories, there was a comic book series that came out a few years ago from Boom Studios, written by Christopher Cantwell, called "Regarding the Matter of Oswald's Body," and it
Yes,
basically
you told me about that. Yeah.
yeah, and it is basically about a group that essentially that they were the people responsible for finding Oswald, hiring him, putting him in the place, and then basically also the people responsible for getting Jack Ruby in where he was supposed to be. None of these people were involved in the government. They're basically just wealthy people, movers and shakers, whatever else. But yeah, basically none of these people were involved in the government. It was like, we don't like this Kennedy guy. Let's take him out. And so we need a patsy. We need a guy to take out the patsy. And it just so happened the government kind of gets involved too. So, but it's another one of those theories that basically, like, the people who took out Kennedy had nothing to do with the government. They were just mad.
Right.
They just mad at what he was doing and whatever else. And then, completely unrelated to conspiracy theories, you all may be familiar with this one. There is a great documentary, if you're a fan of The Shining, called Room 237. And Room 237 is basically this. It is a documentary. All you're sitting there watching is footage from the movie or behind the scenes footage or whatever else. You don't see the people who are talking to you delivering these theories, but it's a collection of like 4 or 5 different conspiracy theories about The Shining, what was done during The Shining, what maybe basically the whole conspiracy theory of that the moon landing was fake and that
The Shining was his confession.
and The Shining was his confession. That's one of the theories. There's many others, and they get wilder as they go along. That's currently streaming for free on Tubi. But yeah, that's a really, really cool one there.
Nice.
So,
oh man, Tubi killed it. Man, we should get sponsorship from Tubi or something.
I know we need to talk to them. Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do give them a lot of shout outs. So
Yeah.
All right, folks. So that is going to wrap it up for us this week here. But yeah, good episode. Thank you very much, sir, for bringing the knowledge.
Oh, Welcome. Thank you. Man, I was looking forward to this episode. I really was, and it's like I'm glad we got to blow off some steam together after this week too, because it was a good day for a show. You know, we
Yes,
needed to have fun.
it
Yeah.
was a good day for a show. Damn right. But yeah, and V has been very patiently waiting
Yes.
here.
Thank
You
you,
know.
V. I appreciate that, brother. Yeah.
Oh, hey, Martin just popped in here. Good to see you, sir.
Oh, what,
Yeah,
Martin? Yeah.
hey, good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a little bit. Yeah, we literally we're just wrapping up here. But next week, as we already said, we already planned this. We're talking Hong Kong cinema next week here.
Yes.
So
Well,
some class
Asian cinema in general. Yeah.
Asian
Yeah.
cinema in
Yeah.
general. Yeah, but we're gonna do some focus obviously with the Hong Kong
Lot
stuff.
of Hong Kong cinema because
Yeah,
it's
but
like I want to talk. I want to talk about that. I love those old school kung fu movies, man. Like, yeah, they're not even old school, like the '80s stuff. Like, yeah.
exactly. V. Yeah, it only took me a
Took
month
me.
and a half.
Woo.
Well, we there was 1 week that we planned we had an unplanned hiatus, and there was 1 week we definitely had a planned hiatus. So at least there was 2 weeks in there that drew us back there. So yeah, so we
Right.
apologize about that, but it's here now.
For your perusal.
Yes, please do enjoy. But anywho, so all right, well, you guys have yourselves a good one. Always, thank you very much for tuning into the Fanatic Forum. Basically, share with your friends, with your family, and whatever else. And while you're in the sharing mood, you gotta check out the Smokes and Road Beers podcast with my boy Seth over here, and Bill and Desiree, and they talk about all kinds of cool shit as well. And yeah, so you definitely got to check them out. Thursday, 6:30 Eastern on Facebook and Rumble.
Yep, we will be back next week. This week Bill took off because it was his birthday, so we decided to give him a break. So
Whoop, whoop.
but
yeah, even though Facebook told us a day late his birthday, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, his birthday was yesterday. Yeah.
Oh, it was okay. That's right. It was yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got my dates mixed up. I couldn't remember if it was yesterday or Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Oh, and V says good things are worth the wait always. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Well, you guys have yourselves a good one, and we're going to be talking some slam bang two gun foot kicking action here next week on the old Fanatic Forum. So, otherwise, you all have yourselves a good one, and we'll leave you here with a message from our friends from Comic Books for Kids, TTFN.
My name is Mark Weiss, and I am the founder and president of an organization called Comic Books for Kids. 6 years ago this month, we embarked on a journey of passion and heart. Our goal was to make a difference for children in hospitals and cancer centers. Little could we have ever imagined the response we have now. Starting with just hopes and dreams, we had no money for our mission. We had no product to give to the hospitals, and we had only called a couple hospitals and asked them, if we were to provide you with comic books, would you be interested? And they said yes. So we embarked on a 1-year journey to make a difference for these kids. We realized that even though we can't take away the reason these children are in hospitals, we can perhaps, while they are there, let them fly like a superhero, be princes and princesses, and embark on a mystical and magical journey to take them away from where they are in that hospital bed. Today, and thanks to your support, we are thrilled to say that we are now the largest charity in the U.S., supporting well over 200 hospitals in all 50 states for not only comic books, but for other pop culture items like Funko Pops, action figures, coloring books, Spanish bilingual items, backpacks, and more. When we received materials that were inappropriate for the young ones, we started a sister charity called Comic Book for Troops. And overnight, we became the largest charity in the U.S. for these same items to all branches of the military. We want to thank our friends for providing us their support and for allowing us the means to make so many happy with their gracious give to us.